Hello, I'm Christopher Kenworthy and I'm going to be showing you how to create flowing metal sparks. So I'll call this composition sparks and create a new solid, and onto that we're going to put some particles. Now there are lots, depending what you own and what comes with After Effects, there are lots to try, but we're going to use CC Particle Systems 2. There are more complicated ones out there, but with a little tweaking this does exactly what you need. Now the default, as you can see, is not very good. It doesn't look very realistic to create actual sparks from this that look like they're sort of glowing and dripping. We need to make a lot of changes. So we'll go over here. First thing we'll do is bring the birth rate down to about 2, and longevity will leave at 2. Then come down to the producer. You might want to change the position. Generally for these sort of effects you want the sparks to be coming down from the ceiling or dripping from a sparking wire, something like that, but so somewhere around there would be good. Then under physics, change animation to direction, and velocity goes right down to about 0.2 or 3. We'll start with 0.2. So that's a very different look there already. Now to speed them up again a little, we'll change the gravity to 1.5, but then to combat that we'll change the resistance to 10. Now you can tweak these in as many ways as you want to get different effects, but I've found that particular combination gives a nice pleasant flow, as though there is some gravity there, but it's not just dragging the particles down the screen. Now under particle, change line to shaded sphere. Clearly this doesn't look right because the sizes are wrong, so change birth size to 0.05 and death size to 0.10. Now you could have birth and death the same size, matter of taste. Opacity map, change to constant because we don't really want them to fade out, and the maximum opacity put back to 100. Now the color map, you may just want to color these both white. You might want white sparks. I found it's quite useful to have them start as white and then fade out to something just ever so slightly reddish yellow, like that. Just offers a bit of variety, as though maybe they're cooling down as they fall. And change the transfer mode to add. You won't see much immediately, but that just means when they cross each other you get a slightly better look. So those are the basic settings to get the dripping sparks. What you want to do now is get it so that they appear to be reacting to the environment. So let's say it's a power pole that you're going to composite these onto, and there's a flash of lightning or a little explosion and the sparks burst a bit more. So to do that, we'll play with the keyframes in particle system here. We'll get the birth rate first, actually. We'll hit that there. So I'm just past the 2-second mark here. I've keyframed the birth rate at 2. And then under physics, I'm going to keyframe the velocity. I'm just going to hit the space bar for half a second, so I've moved up a little. You could of course just drag the slider, but I find when I'm working it's quite an effective way to move up. And then we'll change the birth rate to something quite high, around 6, and the velocity to about 1.5. Again, spacebar just for a little couple of frames, and then take these right back down. You can, if you want, play around here and go to a lower birth rate and a lower velocity than before to put in a pause, but I'm just going to go back to roughly where we were. Push the birth rate back up. and there you'll see through that section you've got a little burst. Now that works so well that what you can do is just copy those keyframes and then paste them in other places, and then dip in on individual ones and go, okay, we'll move that up and down a bit, or we'll change that, make the birth rate a bit lower. Here we'll take the velocity down a touch and just randomize it that way. So when you watch it back, it looks like you've got lots of little bursts that are slightly different. Now to make that all look realistic, we need to blur them. So go to the CC Force Motion Blur filter, apply that, and the job's done. There are other things you can do. Once you composite this into your footage, you can get really great effects by moving the position of the producer, so keyframing it and then moving it across or down, and then suddenly back up like this. Creates a very strong sensation of something sort of whizzing around and giving off sparks, but that all depends what you're going to composite this into, of course. But there's the essential effect. All you have to do now is composite that over another layer.